Now I will continue with the section 2 for the search engine optimization topic. The section 2 will be about on-page SEO. And now let's start. In this video, I will go through 3 main points. First is what is on-page SEO, and 2, what is the on-page SEO factor, and last but not least, the most important thing is that some tips to get more traffic to your site. In the first part, I'm going to tell you about the definition of on-page SEO. I have mentioned before in the last video, but now I will repeat it to be more easier to remember and to keep track with the other things in this section. So on-page SEO is the practice of optimizing individual websites in order to rank higher and earn more relevant traffic to your site. So that is the definition of on-page SEO. And now we will jump into the second part about on-page SEO factors. What are the on-page ranking factors for SEO? First is the content of the page. A good content can create a good result for the page, like it will keep the customer to continue reading. So what is a good content? Good content have 2 attributes. First, the best content is the one that do the best job in supplying the largest demand. And secondly, the good content is linkable, and as a result, the content can drive the traffic to given website. And the second factor of the on-page SEO is that the title tag. Title tag is the second important factor for the SEO, and the third one is the URL slot, which means that a smart internal linking. The SEO should make sure that the category hierarchy of a given website is reflected in the URL. And now I will give you an example of URL structure. And when see this, you can know which one is the larger title and which one is the smaller title. So after we know about the factor of on-page SEO and the definition of it, and now we will go to the third part. The third part is about the tip to get more traffic to your site. First, we need to optimize the title tag. This means that you need to have the keyword that you want to rank for in the title. And the word needs to close to the beginning of the title as much as you can, so that you can easy to get the attention of the customer. And as you can see here in the example, the word for buying house in District 9 has very close to the beginning of the title. And it has an important aspect of the title to consider to optimize your title tag. First is the page content within the site. I will give example to be more understandable. I will take Tiki, an e-commerce platform, to do the example for this. For the homepage, you see that when you go to Tiki and you see many categories like beauty, book, and when you go into books category and you're going to see the product category page, you will see the book for romance, the book for action. When you choose the book for romance, and you will see many kinds of romance book like Sẽ có thiên thần thay thế anh yêu em or Mãi mãi là bao xe. You see the product page, the title at different level need to have a appropriate context. As the typical relevant within the page, you should use the word in the title tag that can also use in the other part of the page to tie the topic together. The unique tag. When the multiple pages have the same tag, those tags are useless for the search engine. Use the dynamic option when possible. If you have a large website like an e-commerce website, you need to find a way to semantical code your text. For example, as I will put here, and when you put the product name like that, it will easier for the website to category the data in the same area so that it's easier to find the information needed. The searcher intent keyword use, that means that you need to put the keyword that the searcher is finding into the title tag to improve the chance that the searcher will choose your website. Call to action in the search result page. This means that get your important words and phrase in the 70 to 71 character. Be concise, be direct, and be prioritize the important word to appear as early in the title tag as possible. Keep perspective of the title tag impact. It means that don't overemphasize the important or impact of the title tag alone. The title tag optimization is just the start of entry point until you are at the top of the search result position. The second tip that you can use is to optimize URL slot. It means that the permanent link has the keyword. Keep the URL as short as you can. Simply people do is just put the keyword that they want to rank for in the URL, and your word is to make it nice, short, and easy for Google to index. Easy for people to read it when they do the search. We have some tips to do the optimization of URL. And as you can see from the picture, the first one is you need to use the readable URL. If you cannot understand your URL, the Google cannot either. And the URL, you need to use the hyphens that is dấu gạch ngang in Vietnamese in the URL so that the Google can read the URL easier. And moreover, you need to put the top content in the root folder. The root folder in the website is usually the home page of the website, and the URL can signal the top content because it's in your root folders. And avoid using the capital letter in the URL to avoid confusing visitor and search engine. Besides, you can block the bad URL with the robot.txt. So as a robot.txt, it specifies how to inform the web robot about which area of the website should not be processed and scanned. And then you can add mobile URL to the sitemap so that when the people not search on the PC but instead search on the mobile, it's still available to the user to get ranked higher. And next, can use the canonical URL to avoid the duplicate content. The canonical URL is usually the homepage of a website. And there are many ways to optimize a URL, like upload a favicon. So what is a favicon? Favicon is the URL icon. As you can see in this example, the favicon here is the logo of Google. And you can also use the 301 redirect. This is a web server function where an old URL can be redirected to a new one. 301 redirect is a permanent redirect status, indicating that the source has moved permanently. It means from the page A, you tell them to go to the page B because page A is no longer available. And you need to add the target keyword in the URL so that Google can better connect the user with your site. For example, as you can see here, when I search about the trade conflict, they have so many search results for that, and in the title of the page is always include trade conflict. And you can see in the web link is always include the trade conflict too. I will choose this, and it has a tag for trade conflict, many articles about this, and I will choose this one, for example. So in the title is include Trump, China, and US. And when you look down for the first paragraph, it also include China, US, Donald Trump, and trade conflict. And when you look down, they also include a tag here for China. As you see here, it have a tag for all the article about China. Why they do that? They know that the Vietnamese people can curious about what China do currently, and this tag can keep them to continue reading Deutsche articles. It can reduce the bounce rate for the Deutsche online site and also get the reader to interesting in Deutsche site. The third tip is that you need to include the keyword in the first paragraph, at least once or twice in the first 100 words as you can. The fourth tip is that optimize the subheading. This means that you need to have the keyword in the subheading so that you can tell Google you have complete content information for your reader. So how can we distribute the subheading? You need to structure your subheading. You might have heard of the heading tag. This is the HTML tag as we use for creation of heading. The most important tag is the heading tag, which is usually the title of the post. Heading tag have a top-down hierarchy from H1 to H6, so your tag should start with a main heading H1. The heading can only be used once per article, or the heading can be used multiple times as long as they follow a hierarchical structure. H2 is used for subheading of H1. H3 is for subheading of H2. The fifth one is the internal link. It means that you have a link earlier in your website, early on your article. That's in case someone doesn't really want to read the article. Maybe they want to read the article that you insert in. Why we need to do that? We can reduce the bounce rate and Google Analytics and tell Google that the reader is still interested in your site. So what is the bounce rate? A bounce occurs when someone visits your website and leave without interacting further with your website. So the bounce rate shows the percentage of your visitor who bounce off your site. So the purpose of the internal link is that it tells Google know what is your site about. So your job is set the link up with the keyword and create 2 to 4 links with link up to the other internal page. The sixth one is to optimize the pictures. Like when you read a website, if it has the white space between the block of text or the pictures, it will make you easier to read that website, right? So it's the same for other website. When you do the SEO, you need to optimize the picture, the white area. For simply understand, it means that you need to have a white space or the pictures that don't make the reader feel fatigued by reading a whole block of text. It's used to reduce the block of text and also increase the readability of the reader. The reader will more likely to scroll down to continue reading, and especially something that you need to pay attention is that the large image can slow down your website. So it can create a less than optimal user experience. Like when you go to a site and the picture is slowly appear, you may feel angry, may feel impatient to wait for that image. So it's the same for optimized picture. The large image can take more time to appear and it will reduce the user experience. So you can reduce the size of picture by choose the right file format. We had 3 main kinds of format for picture: PNG, JPEG, and if the PNG is a very large image, it has high quality and it's also a very heavy file. Second one is the JPEG is more good for a site to use because it's not really large, but it also provide a high quality, but not as high quality as the PNG. The last one is the GIF. It's only used 256 color. It's the best choice for image and it's only used lossless compression. So it means that there is a trade-off between the compression and quality. When you have a high compression, it means that you will have low quality of pictures. We took the image again at the medium compression rate. Similar image like PNG should be under 200 kb or less for the best performance. The 7th one is the optimized meta description. The meta description is the snippet of up to about 255 characters. A tag in the HTML which summarizes a page content. The search engines show the meta description in the search result, mostly when the search for phrase is within the description. So optimizing the meta description is crucial for on-page SEO. After you see the example for the meta description, here is the official definition for the meta description. Meta description is an HTML tag which looks like this and the HTML code for the page here in the pictures. And the Google use the click-through rate as a way to work out whether you are good results. And if more people click on your results, the Google will consider you as a good result and will, based on your position, move you up on the rank. And this is why optimize the meta description is so important. By the way, Google don't always use your meta description if they think that there's a better description and they will use it instead of yours. So be careful about that. And maybe you will have a question. What is the characteristic of a good meta description? A good meta description will contain these characters. First is short and snappy. It needs to be short, understandable, so that the customer don't confuse and they can understand what is your site about, or it will create a chance for the customer to click on your site. Second one, it needs to be actionable and written in an active voice, like people will know what they will get when they click on your site. For example, get motivated to design a home of your dream with our inspiring looks and practical decorating tips. By this, you can know what you will get when you click on this site, including a call to action. For example, like put in the word try it for free, download for free. This will attract the attention of the customer to click on the site. Contain the focus keyword, which means that when you go to the Google and the keyword that you have searched will be highlighted or from the meta description. It's really important for our website to be more inviting, so don't forget to put the keyword in the meta description. Fifth one is possibly showing the specification. For example, if you have the product for the tech savvy, and in the meta description, if you also put the price inside, it will trigger the click more than just describe about characteristics, the features of your product. Because they are tech savvy, so they know many things about your product already. They just need an info about the price. The sixth one, matching the content, which the Google will find out when the meta description trick the visitor into clicking and might even penalize the website that do this. If your content and your meta description is not linked together, Google can find out about that. And last but not least, and it's also the most important thing, the meta description have to be unique. If your meta description is the same as though from the other page, and the user experience and Google will be hampered. They find no difference with the page and they will wonder why they need to use your page to continue reading, or because maybe they can find some interesting thing in the other side. So I hope that you can learn some useful knowledge in this video. Thank you for your watching.